So in this video we'll go over the engine compartment. This is on our unrestored car, the 1968 Mustang. It has 12,000 miles on it, and I wanted to showcase this as far as originality and show some of the factory techniques that were on here. Hopefully this is good reference for future, for people doing restorations. It is a San Jose built car of June 1968. I'll go around the periphery, the fenders, the hood, and then we'll get into the actual components of the engine compartment and engine itself. So one of the things as far as engine compartments, I know when we're at a car show, this is what everybody wants to see, right? You open up the hood, you want to see what's under the hood, what's going on there. This is always intriguing. You always see a bunch of people standing around pointing. So this is probably my favorite area to look at. A lot of details. So the hood itself, we'll start with that. The paint on the underside of the hood, you can see some runs a little bit right there. Very typical trunk area under the hood. Ford wasn't that worried about the same finish as the outside of the car. The rotation number, you have a 418 right here, which matches under the license plate on the back. The paint inspector as well, typical for San Jose during that time period. You see some of the bare metal here from where it was fixtured and held in place, the hood, while it was painted. More there than on this side. This side you don't see very much. The date code on the hood itself, you can see here, is reverse stamped, and that's a May date code. And that matches the sheet metal we have on the fenders as well. You can see on this side better than the other side. May 17th here, and a little bit harder to read on this side, about the same area right there. I think it's a May 16th. When we go around, one of the interesting things as far as the fasteners for the fender, they're all the same manufacturer, both sides, up and down. Sometimes you see different manufacturers used. They had different vendors, and that's all the way the same. The hood catch assembly and radiator support, these are different. A couple of the bolts, phosphate finish on the hood catch. The fender over here, inner fender, we have a sticker. So this sticker is from Hollywood, California. This gas station was right down the street, maybe 2 blocks or so from the Hollywood Walk of Fame and Capitol Records. So interesting that at some point the owners must have gone on a road trip and had some kind of service done there. So I've kept that. I think that's a nice little detail kind of that shows the history of the car. The hood hinges are dated May 24th and May 31st. You could see those date codes on the side arms of the hood hinges. And there's another inspector stamp here, same inspector that was on the hood. The air cleaner assembly has an FA50 sticker on the side, and there's a correct FA50 replacement inside. So if we look at this here, you can see the Autolite. It's a correct Autolite unit, replacement unit. It does have round holes on it, so I do think it was a later unit, but at least it's an Autolite. And then what I'll do, we'll take this air cleaner assembly off and pause the video real quick and get this out of the way, since I only have 2 hands, and continue on. Okay, we got the air cleaner assembly off. I'm still learning how to use my hands and eyes and videoing at the same time. So anyway, I wanted to show this. You can see black on the underside of the air cleaner assembly. You see it here and a little bit in here. The idea here was that we believe on some air cleaners, not all, you'll see this on original ones, that this was here either as possibly something that was fuel resistant, or maybe it was just done for aesthetics in case the engine backfires, you have black soot or whatever. It doesn't look so bad. But on originals, you'll see that. Again, not on all of them, but on this one you had it there. And then coming back to the engine compartment itself, before I go into it, I've made two changes in here, one for originality and one for aesthetics. Originality, I wanted to take this hose here. So this is the heater hose. This one here used to have a Prestone flush system in it. It had a little cap in here, two worm clamps right there. Obviously it really stood out, and I was lucky enough to get this factory original assembly line hose, put it on here. You can see the texture on there. It's just a red stripe, and then it does have, it mentions the length on here. It's a little hard to read, but both of these hoses show an engineering number and the length. If we can, here, I'll come around here. You can kind of see that one down there, which is yeah, that's a factory thing. You'll see that on the original hoses. So that's the change for originality. This is here is for aesthetics. So I changed this sticker, not change it, but I added it on here. So all that was left is the residue of where the sticker used to be, and I thought it would look a lot better with it just completes the engine compartment having that in there. But I wanted to be upfront about that. I did add that, and the next owner, if you wanted to take it off, you could do that, but that's exactly the way Ford would have had it on there. So other than that, in this area is where you're starting to go into the engine. Wanted to show the engine ID tag, zoom in on that. So this metal aluminum tag will be on all of these, and the way you read it is 289 is the cubic inches. That's the 289 engine. E is the engine plant. 68 is the model year. 16 is the change level. E17 is the month and the day, so May 17th. And then again, the K236J is the engine code, and that's the engine code I just mentioned. Matches that right there. And then moving on to the battery. The battery, I do have just a Napa battery in there. This is not an original battery. That's long gone. It is a battery cover that's on there. You can see this is the original hold down. They have kind of those interesting runs like that. Original battery cable. This is, focus that in there. There we go with the Autolite. It's a yellow print on there that has not been reproduced, and both the original positive and negative cables are there. The starter relay, they're date coded on the bottom. This is a May of '68 date code on there, so it would be a stamp of 8EA, so year, month, week. 1968 May, first week. Original, see the alligator skin type of hoses, original on the upper and the lower. The belts, all the belts are original. So this one just happens to be up on top. Never know when you stop the car where it's going to be. But this is the air conditioning belt. So I'll go through those. You have a C7ZE 8620-E2 for the air conditioning belt. It's dated 168, so first quarter of 68. The power steering belt is a 268, second quarter 68, C6OE 8620-A1, and then the alternator belt is a 168, and engineering number C4TE 8620-S1. So all original belts from the factory, from the assembly line. The spark plug wires is an interesting detail. So you see Q1 and Q2 of 68. You know, when we're restoring the cars, we're all putting them together. You know, they're all the same. They're all second quarter, first quarter. But what you see here is that wasn't necessarily the case, and some of these are white, some of these are yellow. You can see the original engineering tag, C8AF. And then a really unique feature on here is the number 8. If you look at the number 8 spark plug wire boot, the originals are like that. We have the number 8 molded on the boot. That's also something that's never been reproduced. You can see another engineering tag right there. The carburetor is an April date code for the tag. April 23rd, Autolite. Air conditioning, hoses. You can see the original C7 engineering number on there. And then the rest of these hoses, these were never serviced by Ford. So the hoses were done in a bulk. So these molded exact hoses with this texture on here and the connectors, didn't service them like that. It was easier just to have bulk hose, connectors, put it together as you need. So these are really hard to find today, something that matches. I mentioned the heater hose, right? So this one's replaced with an original one. You can see that it just has a red stripe on there, the texture. And then this one doesn't have any Autolite on it, but it does have, where's the date code? The date code right there, April 13th, 68. So another interesting detail. The vacuum hoses are a solid stripe. So all the reproduction vacuum hoses today have an MX on there. They don't make a solid stripe vacuum hose. So you can see you got your green and the yellow right here. But just like that, if you're looking to do that, you have to find originals or NOS ones. The vacuum, there we go, that right there, that's our thermostat switch that's on the thermostat housing, and that one is dated 2H68, so 2H68 would be February 68, and H is where it was manufactured, which is the Hanover plant. Original radiator shroud, original radiator fan. The fan is dated 68E, so May of 68. Original washer bottle. The original washer bottles, the assembly line and early NOS ones, they have a reinforced area on the bottom, so kind of a unique thing. Most of, if not all, the service replacements you see for sale these days don't have that. The voltage regulator is dated on the side, and I took pictures of that. Just moved the screw and took a picture. 8E23B. Let's see if we get close up on that. And moving on to the distributor. The distributor is a C8OF12127-C. It's dated May 10th of 1968. You can see the paper tag harness next to it. The engine feed harness, that's a C8DB-14289-B. The intake as well. You can see the intake date code right there, 8D27, which is April 27th, 1968. The battery tray, I didn't explain before, this was a Group 22. This has got upgraded to a Group 24, so I have the original Group 22 battery tray that'll come with the car, should belong with the car. And then a couple other details. The PVC PCV hose is a 03078, so March 7, 68 on the PCV hose. Back here, you can see that original texture. The compressor, you can see an interesting detail here. It has the stamp on here, oil, and then also the date code is D68, so that would be April of 68 for the AC compressor. And then the last couple things here, well, an important thing on the back is the engine, the VIN number that's stamped on the back of the engine. So the VIN number is back here. You can see photos of that. And the VIN numbers were stamped after the engine was painted. So on an original engine, you'll see the stamping. The letters, numbers do not have paint in them. If you look up close, you'll see that. So it's an interesting detail to look for. And then the last thing is the paint in the engine bay. You can actually see some of the areas where it's light or no paint. If you look here by the washer bottle, The bottom there, you can see right there, there's no paint. Right there, it's light. And then the way it fades, this is typical during this time period. You can see the way it fades from here to here. It's never at the back a hard tape line. You can see that a little better right here. They just came across when there was no fenders and just painted that area. So that's a quick summary of what we have for the engine compartment. 1968 Mustang, June built, 12,000 miles.